This is possibly one of the most exciting days at Mapperton so far, because our ponies have just arrived and they are behind us. There are 4 of them. They're Exmoor ponies, and I'm here with Ben, who is the ranger here at Mapperton, and they only got here this afternoon.
Yeah, only this afternoon, so they've settled in very well after a bit of a stressful journey. They don't like travelling too much, so there was a bit of moving, and the van was shaking a little bit. Yeah, as soon as they stopped moving, they were settled. So they.
Julie sent me the most panicked email, actually text message, saying, "Oh my goodness, that was so scary. Yeah. I'm lucky to be alive," or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben, what happened?
You never know what they're going to do when you drop down that back door. Yeah, we didn't know whether they were just going to absolutely bolt out and run towards us, or if they were going to.
But the good news is, you filmed it.
Yeah, we managed to film it.
So we can look back and see what happened.
I'm in the middle of renovating the muniment room, and I had to run from the muniment room,
I got it in my vehicle,
to get here and do some filming myself. This is how Mapperton is. It's literally non-stop. Okay. Oh my God.
Good kids. Come on, way up, way up, way up, way up. Cool. Good kids.
Okay, wow, look at them. Well done, Ben. How are you feeling right now, Ben? I'm going to interview you.
Yeah, pleased that they got here safely. It's always a bit daunting because it's 2 hours up the road, and they don't really travel too well. Especially on a hot day like today as well. It's a bit stressful for them, but they haven't got any injuries or anything else, so hopefully they're just going to get some water, sort of get rehydrated now, and then we'll chuck some food and keep on checking on them throughout the day and throughout the evening.
It's exciting. And what's the next step then?
So as Claire said, we're going to get the stallion castrated tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just because he's up on our rewilding site at Coultley, it's bridleway, so we can't have a stallion running around on a bridleway.
Right, okay, gotcha. And then when are you taking them to Coultley, the rewilding project?
Well, hopefully once he's sort of settled down, because he's going to be a bit sore for a couple of days.
Sure will. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
You're amazing. Okay, well done, Ben. Okay, and I mean, I have a fear of cows, but I shouldn't have one of ponies, right?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'd be more nervous about these guys, but
yeah, great. Perfect. Here comes another phobia. Okay, we've done it. Wow, ponies have arrived at Mapperton. Amazing, for the rewilding project.
Oh my goodness. I remember there was a time when we released the White Park cattle in here, and Julie was caught between a cow and a barn or something, and it was very scary. But anyway, we're lucky that you're both still with us.
Yeah.
So who have we got? We've got 3 mares.
3 mares, and we've got a stallion, yeah. So the stallion's the one there on the left. He's got the long mane, sort of frowning at us. And his ladies there are just picking at the brambles, which is a bit of a sign of what they do.
Well, there we go, because we have these ponies here for a reason. And we did an episode quite a while ago talking about the project that we have at Mapperton called Mapperton Wildlands. And this is our rewilding project. The objective is to turn over roughly half of the estate eventually, about 1,000 acres, and hand it back to nature, because nature tends to do a really pretty good job of enabling landscapes to recover. It's not quite that simple though, because we have to provide some ingredients, and Ben, you are one of those ingredients, and these ponies are also part of the ingredients. Tell us what the plan is and what the animals are that we've got so far and what's still to come.
So far we've got the White Park, So they've been
White
here
Park.
2 years now.
2 years.
2 years. And then in September we released our beavers.
We've got the beavers.
So we've got those now. So now we've got our Exmoor ponies. So their job is to graze in a different way to the white parks. They'll be probably doing a lot more browsing. We can already see them doing that now, which is great. They're helping to get that mosaic that we want around the estate, and so hopefully having them in that triple SI area just a target in there first for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we'll move them across onto the rest of the rewilding as we're letting everything give a chance to naturally regenerate. So,
and that's what we're trying to achieve here. We're trying to give nature the best chance of natural regeneration, and the way that we want to do that, following the model of the extraordinary success that they've seen at the Knepp Estate. So we've got cattle who are grazers predominantly.
Yeah.
We've got ponies who graze but also browse, meaning that they go for the scrub, they go for the brown. You can see they're enjoying a bit of bramble over there at the moment, and one of them is clearly very relaxed.
Yes,
because,
exactly.
you know,
But that's a good sign.
That's a good sign, isn't it?
After seeing them travel, they're getting used to their home here. So,
and then we have the pigs coming. So we have Tamworth pigs coming.
Yeah.
We've got a sow who is in pig, which means she's pregnant. She's about to have an enormous litter of piglets.
So we're going to have more animals running around.
And of course these are pregnant as well. Is that right?
Potentially. Yeah. So
well, one we know for sure.
We've got the one which is closest to us on the right hand side there. You can sort of just see it in that sort of bigger depth of girth, and so potentially it could be a couple of weeks, but
couple of weeks,
we don't know.
We might have a foal at Mapperton. Yeah. But the pigs that are coming, their purpose is to rootle, so it's to use their snout to open up the soil and thereby allow other species to get in, other plant life, seed germination, etc. So it's the combination of all these animals in the landscape that is going to do the job. But beyond that, here at Mapperton, we've got quite a targeted plan. So we've broken this plan down into individual fields. We've got different fields that are at different stages. Some of them have, are basically just pasture, where there might be a couple of grass species and clover. Others are what we call species rich, which means they've got multiple different plant species. And that's what we're aiming for. We want to get more species rich grassland. Ben, fantastic. And tomorrow we've got the vet coming. What's happening?
Yeah, vet coming tomorrow. So we are gelding the stallion. So
gelding the stallion, in case you don't know, I think means castrating.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, he's going to be pretty sore.
Or is he being snipped?
Castrated. So
castrated.
Everything
right.
out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that's happened, he then recovers and then gets let out.
So then, depending on his recovery time, we'll let them out into the area where they're going to be.
And we're going to have people who say, well, why are you castrating this poor stallion? Why can't he be a natural family unit out on Mapperton Wildlands? What's the answer to that?
We've got a bridle way, so we can't.
Bridle way, so he might be a little too frisky
just
and
in
dangerous.
Case anyone else is riding on their
That's one
horses,
reason, but also once these mares have given birth, there's a risk that he will impregnate his daughters.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not good for the gene pool.
No,
either.
it's not. No, these are pure Exmoor ponies, so they're registered with the Exmoor Society as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't want to mess up with the gene pool.
And Ben, when you think about this whole project, we're right at the start here. Yeah. You've been here almost from the start.
I've been here a year now.
Now that we're in this next phase of the animals being here, what are you nervous about?
I want to get the pigs in. Once we get the pigs in, then everything's here, and then it's sort of just waiting for what happens to happen. I'd say sort of what we're trying to do with the pigs is target moving them around culturally. I can see that being maybe a little bit of a pain, just challenging just with the electric
moving
fence.
The pigs.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to track that.
Yeah.
Surely the most worrying thing though is what's already happened, which is
with the beavers.
Which is that these animals escape. That's the real worry, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably wasn't the best start to a January. No, it
wasn't.
No, it wasn't really.
But we got them back. Woody and Twiggy came home, and when we think about these animals now, I suppose in some ways, Ben, that's the number one job, isn't it?
Yes.
Keeping them in.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping them in, keeping them healthy, making sure they've got their normal behaviour and they're happy. So that's the main thing that we want to keep.
I suspect we're going to have one or two more breakouts though.
Probably, yeah, probably.
Right, okay, here we are. We're back in Marsh Farm Barn, and I'm here with John. John is local vet?
Yes, Breedy Vet Centre.
Breedy Vet Centre.
Yeah.
And John is here to perform a task which I'm afraid is essential for one of these ponies. So we're here to, what's the technical term?
Castrate.
That's not very technical, is it? It's
No.
pretty blunt, says what it is. We're here to castrate the stallion, and the stallion is one of the 4 Exmoor ponies that we have here. These are ponies that have come to Mapperton to join the Rewilding project. What's the process?
Okay, well the first thing in veterinary work is always to get close to the patient. That's the first challenge.
Make friends.
Well, we'll try and so he's as settled as we can be. He doesn't look overly keen on being handled, but we'll see if we can get him in the crush. And the first thing I want to do is give him an intravenous sedation if I can.
Right, so he's going to be sedated.
Initially.
He's going to be knocked out.
He's going to be sedated initially.
Right.
For 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll give him an anaesthetic. And then ideally, I would like him lying here on his left-hand side so I can get his right leg out of the way, his right hind leg out of the way, so I can get to the surgical site.
The relevant parts.
Yes.
Right, now this is a very distressing moment in the life of a male. Of course, this stallion has no idea what's about to happen to him.
I would think he's got bad feelings.
He's got bad feelings. He's sort of eyeing you up slightly, isn't he?
Yes. There's a strange person around.
And yet this is very important, because unless we do this, we risk him mating with his children.
Yes. And so they are all related, are they?
He is certainly the father of the unborn foals in at least one of them.
Right, the mares are pregnant.
Mares are pregnant.
Right.
And then secondly, a stallion close to a public footway is not a great idea.
No.
Is that also part of what we have to think about here?
Yeah. The first issue is always, as I say, catching him first.
Yeah, meeting the patient.
Yeah. He's going to need some intravenous treatment, and if he's not used to being handled, that's going to be exciting.
Right. Okay. We better not stand around anymore in that case.
Yes. Let's just focus on the initial event.
And fingers crossed.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely. I'm keeping my fingers crossed behind my back.
So, John, that didn't go entirely as expected, but you made a really good decision.
I'm not. I wasn't sure what I was coming into. I thought, well, I didn't expect them to be quite as wild as they are. I don't really want to get halfway through a procedure and then find we can't complete it, and then have a very stressed and anxious horse to deal with in the future. So we'll just take it gently and come back in a week or two's time and let him get used to a new environment.
Because we gave him some sedative, didn't we?
We gave him a huge dose of sedative.
And it didn't really calm him down very much.
He's got so much adrenaline in there. I thought moving one day and then castrating the next day, that's probably a bit optimistic.
Yeah.
Even for a well-handled horse, they'd be a bit, it's going to take them a few days to calm down.
Yeah, and we've got to be very conscious of their welfare. We don't want him getting stressed. We don't want him hurting himself.
Well, I mean, it does tend to focus the mind when you've got 400 kilos of agitated animal and you're going to put your hand between it and some metal. So. Your mind is quite conscious of that.
You're still in one piece?
Yes.
We hope you remain in one piece.
Everyone's in one piece. The horses aren't too upset. They've had a bit of handling.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and have another go.
We'll give it another go. Okay, thank you.
So today we're going to be putting these guys out for the week. So we're still waiting for the stallion to get castrated. What we're going to do is, because we've got some really nice weather next week, we're going to turn them out. So they're going to be outside in a little paddock. So they're able to have a roll, have a pick of grass, enjoy life a little bit, and then we'll bring him back into the barn for him to be castrated when he's sort of next booked in. And then once he's fully recovered, then we'll take them over to Coltley, and that's where they'll live for the duration. So I think what the plan would be is if I get you and Meg to go and stand at the top gate up there, and then I'll just stand back, open the gate here, and let them walk up. Hopefully, when they see you guys, they'll turn into that paddock where they're going to go to. And then we'll just go and shut the gate, and then that'll be them. So that's the plan. Come on then. Nice.
So first up today, I'm going to go and meet Ben, who I can see over here already. And Ben's got a couple of boring chores. The first thing I think we're going to go and look at is a broken gate, which we're going to fix, and for which you need some really skilled fencing talent.
That's it,
That's
exactly.
Me, isn't
That's
it?
what I called.
Let's go and check out the gate.
Perfect.
Great. So we are in Mythe. I can see the problem. So Ben, what's the job?
So we're just going to take out the old fence posts. This is the old strut as well, so that's just sort of kept everything tight.
Yeah.
So we're going to take this out, restrain the barbed wire, and probably replace that post as well, for something that's a bit more sturdier.
Because that, I'm afraid, is gone. Should we do it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Do you use that?
Yeah.
And then
that's it.
Then you do it like that, don't you? Oh dear. There we go, look at that, last splinter out. Now, Ben, I do have a confession.
Go for it.
I've never hammered in a post before. You do one and I'll do t'other.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Nice. There we go. What do we think? What's the plan for the latch?
Just the real old agricultural way of just using a bit of string.
Not another piece of string. One of the things I despair of at Mapperton, a number of gates with pieces of string. Okay, so that's sort of doing it there. He makes it look so light.
Oh, there we go. perfect.
Wow.
I'd say that's.
You think?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
I'm exhausted. Right.
Perfect.
Good. Ben is nervous about his hands, and he has every reason to be. Oh God!
Hey, as long as you don't get that one.
Now he's gone down to one hand. This is all that stands between freedom for those cows and these wonderful bluebells. There we go. Hope it's going to fit. Look at that. Sort of.
Sort of.
There's an easy knot to untie here, which will only take a second.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're done.
Perfect.
Right, Ben, we'll have to get this out later.
Yeah.
Where next?
Next, ponies.
Ponies.
Go and check on the ponies.
Daily check of ponies. Really important, essential daily job. We're up above Marsh Farm because this is where the Exmoor ponies are. This isn't their long-term home.
This isn't their long-term home, no.
But one of the things that you've got, Ben, on your daily checklist is checking the ponies.
Yeah.
What are you checking for?
So I've got a mixture of things at the moment. So we've got one maver, so she's slowly bagging up. So she's slowly making and producing milk. So
slowly bagging up. Is that the technical term?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, so we'll be looking. So if you look underneath her leg, she's getting very wide.
She's basically pregnant.
Yes.
So they're in here. Let's go have a look. So they're here temporarily whilst the stallion, the male, waits for his operation.
Exactly.
Luckily, he still doesn't know what's coming to him.
No, no.
But after that, they're then heading up to Coltley. Now, one thing I can't help noticing is that these ponies are doing a far better job of rootling than the pigs. I mean, their hooves are churning up the soil everywhere.
Yeah, and they can get the grass down to a shorter level than the white part can as well, because they've got a more sensitive nose as well.
Yeah.
So they can get a bit closer. You can slowly see, so you can just see Maver just how she stood there. You can actually sort of see her bagging up underneath her back legs there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she's not, probably another week, maybe a week and a half.
They seem really relaxed.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They've settled into life really well.
Yeah. All right. I'm here with Ben, who's the ranger overseeing all of this vast area of ecological delight and mystery.
Yes.
We are here because we're going to go and look at some new arrivals.
So we've actually managed this on Tuesday to move the foal and its mum and the stallion as well. So they're all out here together.
These are the Exmoor ponies. We have, well, we had 4 of them, and we've now got 5, and possibly some more to come.
Possibly.
They are an integral part of the Rewilding project here. They are large herbivores, obviously. They're an ancient native breed, quite an endangered breed in the UK.
Yeah.
Not a huge number of them, and they perform a really important in the project, which is
different levels of grazing. So the cattle will almost, with this grass here, they'll get their tongue around it and just rip a bit like that, and they'll graze on that. But the ponies can go a lot shorter and take it to a different new level. So we're creating those different mosaics that we want around the project.
We're basically looking for a golf course, aren't we? With sort of
in some places, yeah, some places as well. And then so we've got, I just see a little patch there where something's been led up overnight.
Oh wow, let's go have a look.
This is sort of probably going back into something else that we've seen in this field over the last couple of days. We had one of the white park took itself off on its own,
So this was a pregnant White Park cow, and she'd had enough of her herd, and she thought, I'll just leave him behind. And so she jumped the fence to find a nice, quiet place to give birth.
Yeah.
And it could have been here.
Potentially, this probably looks where they've been led up for the night. So you got mum here, and then you got this tiny
mum and calf.
and then this tiny little calf there.
Yeah, you're quite right. Yeah, look at that.
So yeah.
And quite a lot of dung in the middle.
Yeah.
Any dung beetles? Well, you can see there's there. What's that?
There we go.
There, just popped in.
Just popped in.
Should we go over and
We'll go and
try and find them?
look
We've
for
got to find the ponies and the foal, and we've got to find the White Park and her calf. We have just found the foal and her mother. Mother, you can just see popping over.
Yeah.
And the foal is just behind.
Just hiding it now for us now. As soon as
Is she? She's standing in the way.
She's a very good mum.
Is she a very good mum?
She's a very good mum.
Yeah.
They have this sort of flight or fight zone, and you sort of
stay out of it.
At the moment, we're probably just on the edge.
Right.
I think if we get a little bit closer, what she'll just tend to do is she'll just turn her shoulder and just walk off and go the other way.
Yeah.
They wouldn't really come
and take
charging.
Coral with her.
Take
Coral
with
we
her.
can see now. Coral is just on the corner there. Do you think if we just creep up slowly a little bit?
We should be able to creep up.
And bring Chris with us. See if we can get a little bit closer. They're really not showing very much fear. They've got used to us, I think.
Yeah, we've got them at a nice stage now. They're used to us. They can let us get close to them so we can check them over, make sure that they're still healthy. But if someone came in and they weren't too sure about that, they'll take themselves off.
They'll just head off.
Yeah,
and they've got lots of space here in which to run off. And it's wonderful to see the little foal, Coral, doing so well, being looked after by her mother. And we think that some of these others are pregnant, don't we, Ben?
Yeah, looking at this one next to Stallion, she's sort of her girth's getting a bit bigger as well, so she's slowly bagging up as well. I mean, after I said that last time, it was
a couple of weeks.
It was the next day. It was the foal.
And there's no problem with them giving birth out here. This is what they do.
No,
These are wild animals.
They want to be doing it.
They want to be out in the wildlands. If you happen to be in the UK and you want to come and visit this project, please do go to mappertonwildlands.com. Ben leads a magnificent tour. Hopefully you'll get a chance to see these. You might also see the beavers. And we're just really pleased when people can come and see the things that we are seeing and experiencing, because we feel incredibly lucky. Do you feel lucky?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Every day. So.
Will we ever be able to get to the point where we can go up and stroke them, or are they just never going to be tamed like that?
Not now.
Never?
No. Potentially there could have been a stage when they were living in the barn and when they were behind my house.
Yeah.
For a bit. But now they're out in this open area.
That's best for them, isn't it? That's what
exactly. Yeah, but we don't want people to go up and feed them anyway, because these guys have got a job to do anyway. So we don't.
Yeah, there's no days off, mate. Come on. Because I remember when you put them in the back of the trailer and you were waving your hands, and I just stopped recording because I was like, oh my god, it's over for Ben here. But
it's like a big game of chicken, really. It's like who to move first.
Yeah.
So he's staring us out at the moment.
Yeah.
Or I think he's staring at you.
Should I not look?
Yeah, just don't look.
Look at the ground. I do love them though, but.
Ben, what's your assessment? Is Chris learning to be a countryman?
Yeah, slowly.
Is it happening?
I mean, the footwear situation is not really the best.
That's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, but we're slowly getting there, aren't we?
I wasn't pre-prepared, pre-warned about all the wet fields on this scorching day, so to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be nice and dry.
And all the cow pats, have you trodden a cow pat yet?
Yeah, I'm about to walk that back into the office probably.
Right, today I am introducing a new special guest on Mapperton Live, and I'm hoping that Hazel is going to be a regular guest, because she's an absolutely key part of the Mapperton story, the new story at Mapperton, which is about our rewilding project and nature restoration and all the things that we need to do to improve the ecology of the place. Hazel, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's really good to be here.
This is a really important piece of work that is going on.
Absolutely.
You've got a team of volunteers working with us.
Yes.
And tell us what you're doing.
Well, basically we're doing a survey for butterfly conservation, which records the numbers and abundance of various butterfly species and day-flying moths, and that will inform them on the nature of the land and any management that you need to do. And especially this year, it hasn't been a great year for butterflies, so it's even more important that we try and monitor the difference between this year and last year. So
you're doing what's called a transect.
Absolutely.
And what does that mean in terms of how you survey to look at the abundance and the different species? What's the process?
Well, we have transect lines run usually from habitat to habitat, so we're entering a sort of marshy area now, and then we're on the hilltop.
Yeah.
But we have a 5 metre wide band, supposedly.
Right.
But you're allowed to record stuff either side as well.
Are we in this 5 metres now? So roughly.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So 5 metres either side. We've got wonderful volunteers helping us today, spotting butterflies.
Yeah, and particularly important when it's windy like this to have volunteers, because they tend to bring the butterflies up.
Yeah.
The calmer weather, they're flying around, so it's quite nice to be able to see them settle, because it's easier to tell exactly what species they are, dependent on their folded wings and the wing pattern.
Well, how wonderful it is that you're helping us do all of this, and you've also been in other parts of the estate looking at ponds. In fact, I got to know Hazel because she very kindly offered to come and do some pond surveys for us.
Absolutely. And
you've had a big discovery.
What did we find this year? We had great crested newts.
Great crested newts.
Male
at Mapperton.
and female, so I was chuffed a bit. Really beautiful.
Yeah.
And palmate newts and possibly smooth newts. So it's been a really great year.
A whole haul of newts.
We've done really well.
We've done so well. Hazel, thank you so much, and we will check in with you again.
Okay, thank you very much.
Brilliant.
We'll carry on.
Let's carry on.
Let you know what we find.
See if I can be in the slightest bit helpful. Today is focused on restoring nature at Mapperton, and we are in a really important site for that. This is the Gallops. It's a 40-acre field, and it used to be an arable field full of wheat and wonderful crops that were being grown to feed us. But today it's not doing that anymore. We've left it, and it's part of our Mapperton Rewilding project. So what we're hoping is going to happen here is that there will be natural regeneration of wildflower species, that we're going to have insects coming back, and that the whole thing is going to be a hive of activity and good stuff for nature. And what's extraordinary is that I can already see that it is. We're only 1 year in, and we've just got tons of different plant species, not all of which are desirable. I'm going off now to meet Claire, who's with our team of volunteers, because they're doing a really important job, which is pulling ragwort. Now, ragwort is a yellow plant. It's quite nice to look at, and really it's a natural part of our botany, but it is poisonous for cattle and other animals. And because we've got adjacent farms here who really don't want ragwort, we're going to help by pulling it out so the seed doesn't get to them. I'm going to go see the team now.
The important thing here is to try and remove as many of the thistles as possible before they go to seed, because we're looking.
And why don't we want thistles? I mean, some of these thistles are absolutely magnificent.
I think
Look at that one there with
so
its purple flower.
Hazel identified that as a nodding thistle, and she said that's a really good one.
Yeah.
But we're going to focus on the boar thistles and any spear thistles that are here.
And why don't farmers like thistles?
Nothing will eat them.
Nothing will eat them.
And they do tend to take over. It's a bit like ragwort. So ragwort's poisonous to cattle and ponies. Sheep can eat it, but if we let the thistles and the ragwort go to seed, I don't think we'll have many neighbours as friends
So,
left.
and this is a rather controversial thing in rewilding circles, because some people will say, actually, you know, whilst in the early years you may find yourselves with a thistle and ragwort problem, if you just allow the ecology to evolve, eventually it'll take care of itself. Hazel, what is this extraordinary thing?
You know, you're asking me. It's for getting right under the roots and digging them up.
Right.
Much simpler than a spade. Look, here we go.
Look at that. Yeah. Okay. Right. And but spade works equally. Spade works equally well, and then there's good old-fashioned just pulling. And you've all got really good gear and gloves, and I, of course, have left mine behind. Claire's got a pair. But anyway, let's get cracking.
So it's really easy to pull up with the roots. When they're a year old, that's when they'll really take hold, and we might be able to find some bigger plants up here.
At this stage, we've got it early.
Yeah. So that one's going to flower.
This is nearly flowered, isn't it? The top.
And I think the problem with ragwort is if you get them when they are out in flower, they still set seed.
Right, so
and
it's too late. So
yes.
this was just in time.
Yes.
And the key thing with these is they're poisonous to livestock. That's why farmers don't like them.
Yeah.
Because they affect the liver of cattle and horses and
sheep
but not
can
sheep.
cope with them, no,
Sheep can
but
cope with them. Yeah. It's really quite astonishing what's happening here.
Oh, I agree.
In its first year.
Yeah.
In terms of wildflowers.
If you compare the gallops, I'm really pleased with the gallops. If you compare the gallops to somewhere like Cliff.
To Cliff, where it's just barren. It's
yeah.
like a Martian wasteland.
Which is why I didn't want to get this topped with a tractor, because I think there's too much else going on in here.
So me with my bare hands and ragwort, I'm taking my life in my hands.
Would you like one of my gloves?
No, it's okay. I'll have to put up with having been so inadequately prepared. Here we've got the two different species of thistle, and this one is favoured. This is the nodding thistle, but it's rather splendid, an elegant plant, compared with the spear thistle, which is this one, with these very sharp spines and flowers pointing up. This one needs to be taken out, this one gets left. Chris has found a real treasure. This time it's not a plant, it's a fossil. And it's a rather beautiful specimen. If I bring it closer over here, you can see that it's part of what would have been an ammonite, but it's got very clear markings on it. Chris, well done. What are you going to do with it?
Frame it, put it in my office.
Put it in your office? Yeah.
In the editing suite.
Remind you of the passage of time. I've actually been having an amazing time. It's just so lovely to be out in this field. This used to be full of wheat, which of course we need to keep producing for food, but it also has a role to play in restoring our biodiversity. And it's just incredible how quickly things have come back. I mean, there are so many different types of plant species. There are 3 or 4 different types of thistle. I've seen wild oats. We've got corn poppies. We've obviously got ragwort, even though Claire doesn't want the ragwort. It's just really blossoming and coming to life. And we're going to be adding wildflower mix to this field as well over the coming year. So I think in future times, if you come to visit Mapperton, it's right by the drive. You're going to see this extraordinary rich field full, we hope, of insects and flowering plants.